moment. We see the top 4 seeds make it into the semifinals, now the top 2 make it into the grand finals, both off 4-0 victories. You couldn't ask for a better story leading to this grand final.
It is April, and Black Ops 3 and Optic Gaming hasn't won an event yet. And I feel like for me, as a player and as a fan, that is a very weird sight to see, because Optic Gaming came into it with arguably the best roster. But Rise Nation has proved that, talent-wise, that they are the best right now. And if Optic wants to dethrone them, they have to win this tournament. There's no other way to say that, okay, we've got a 20-2 record online, but if you can't come on LAN and beat this team, you have no right to say that you're the best. So Rise Nation, Rise Nation right now, they hold the throne. Optic Gaming, just because of the name and all the players on the team, they got to earn it.
You're right, because when you talk about who do you remember the ones who stood on the stage. You remember the ones who lifted up that check, lifted up that trophy, because those are the pictures you're going to see. Those are the gifts you're going to see online. You're not going to remember the 20-2 image that someone posted from the scoreboard that showed up halfway through the show. Yeah, you're going to think about, oh yeah, I was there under those lights, looking at those players. I was watching at home. We talk about it, and then all of stage 2, once again, that's going to be the story. You're going to carry that momentum, carry that reputation, and people are going to look at you with a target on the back. Rise wants to be there. Rise wants that target on their back when they play in stage 2.
Yeah, they are without a doubt the best team in Black Ops 3, and that is without question, and Optic needs to prove that they can play with them.
Impressive so far this weekend for me has to be Octane. We saw him putting up major numbers to make that 4-0 face possible.
Yeah, he was absolutely going off. We talk about their major LAN wins, but now it's time for them to prove that they're the best here at the Call of Duty World League presented by PS4. All 4 members, we've crossed all their names once and again about their skills. We talked about how they look on stage, how confident they are. Looney with his interviews.
For me, I think it's got to be Looney as my spotlight player, because Octane has been doing very, very well, but last series that they played against FaZe Clan, Looney was putting up some insane numbers while playing the objective. I mean, in the CTF, he had like 20+ kills and 3 captures with like 3 defense. He's just going off right now.
This match means so much to Rise because Rise haven't been able to beat Optic online, right? And Optic, all they've heard is that, oh, they're an online team. That's all they need to do to beat Rise. Well, now both these teams want this victory because obviously it proves Rise can beat them on LAN, and then it proves that, well, Optic doesn't need online to beat Rise.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we keep talking about what's at stake for Rise, but you're right. As great of a team as Optic is, as much of a following as they have, that kind of looms over their head like a storm. The whole fact that, you haven't proven yourself offline yet in Black Ops 3.
And that's one of my favorite parts about Crim6, is this guy is the definition of a competitor. He has the most LAN wins out of any player in Call of Duty history, and I know all he's thinking is, I need to get a win on Black Ops 3. I need to win a LAN tournament, and I'm sure he's disgusted that it hasn't happened yet. That's his mindset. That's the attitude that Crim6 has. He's just always been that player that you want on your side because he's a winner, and that's all he has done in his career is win.
And if there's any team that can match the superstars of Rise Nation, it is Optic Gaming. Rise are all about slaying, Optic are all about slaying. These guys, they win their game modes based off of eliminating their opponents off the map and then scoring the objective because of it. You mentioned Looney, I'm going to bring up Scump because those two guys, you saw them on stage, they looked right at each other, they recognize that that will be the battle this entire series between these two teams.
I mean, the storyline here is actually incredible. We couldn't set it up any better. This team, Rise Nation, hasn't lost a tournament. We said it at the beginning, and then Optic Gaming wanting to just beat them as badly as they can just because of the players and their attitudes and who they are as competitors. So I'm so excited. We need to hurry this up. Can we get into the protective bands? Why are we still sitting here talking?
The players are getting ready. The players have to be able to play the game for us to watch the game.
They are divas. We need to start the game.
Well, in the regular season, like we said, they played online, and you mentioned it. Rise couldn't take Optic down. Not good enough just yet when it comes to that online play during the regular season. Optic is leading 2-0, but that all has to go out the window at this point. I know I've spewed a lot of stats at you guys, but as soon as we got into that TSM game, I was like, all right, well, the stats don't mean so much.
I mean, it's just something to think about, though, because everyone always mentions, online league versus LAN. The top 8, obviously in the top 8, well, the top 4 of those 8 teams make it through. Now the top 2 of those 4 all make it through. We've seen the top seeds step up, and they still play as they do online, now on LAN. It's really all going to come down to which team comes out of the gates hot.
I like the fact that there are really good player matchups. Like you mentioned earlier, you had Looney and Scump standing on stage together. But when you really break it down, these players are all very similar in their roles, in their respective roles, and what they do for their team. You have Octane and Formal holding it down for ARs. They play essentially the same exact way in Search and Destroy, and they do the same thing in respawns. And you got Scump and Looney, who are both very, very aggressive subs that are playing the objective, and then Slacked and Classic that are just great all-around players, and the same thing for Karma and Crimsix. So, I mean, really, this is the perfect final that we could have set up for Stage 1 Finals. Like, we couldn't have scripted it any better.
Yeah, I think all of us agree with you, Nate, when we say we can't wait to get into the game to see how it pans out. Because again, now after having seen their semifinal performances, I don't think there's a worry that either of these teams are going to perform.
And here's the thing too that we haven't really been talking about is map by map breakdowns. In every series that both these teams have played, I don't think they've lost the initial hard point.
Oh,
So, that has gotten them to the point where they are now in the finals. So I think this hard point is going to be a really, really good indicator to how this match is going to play out as we get straight into the picks and bans.
Oh, kijk niet naar de ban en protecting.
Coming into this one, wondering if we wind up seeing an HC ban from either.
Allee, ik ga door, hoor. Nee, gewoon, ik ga even dingen livestream kijken. Dan hoor ik beter als ik uit de party ga.
At UMG South Carolina, this was the map where Rise Nation wound up playing without stock on, and Octane dropped like 46 kills and 20 deaths.
Yeah, so we're already seeing, some of these slight differences now that they know they're playing, top two against, 1 against 2, and there's you gotta play to your strengths, right? And you gotta make sure that you can kind of block out strengths that others might have. So we're seeing that Purifier ban come out, the MR6. We'd have a player drop real quick, so we're going to get them back in the lobby, go through the protection.
These guys, the players this time,
they're trying to keep
are delaying the finals. This is not us. You guys can blame Scump. You guys can blame Looney. I don't want to hear it, okay?
They're just drawing the intensity out, making sure the suspense is there.
No, that's the way to do it. That's the way to set it up. I'm curious to see if we can see the Purifier ban, because I like that, because this is the one map that you've seen the Purifier just wreak havoc in terms of hardpoint because of where the hills actually go into that back lockers area, back bunker, where that thing just absolutely shreds. We have seen so many highlight feeds of, I've seen Crimsix get like 9 kills
on this map.
On this exact map. Yeah, so that's why we probably will see the Purifier get banned very quickly, and just so many different strategies going into Stronghold Hardpoint.
Yeah, especially when it comes to that bunker hill, right? I mean, both entrances are so good for the Purifier when you're trying to defend the hill. You can actually just hold it down and just spray out the door. That flame's going out. You're going to hold it for at least another 30 seconds.
I'd be really interested to see if the stock gets targeted in this series, because stock has been a very kind of hot attachment on these weapons as of late because of the stock submachine guns. But even more, as I mentioned, Octane does not use a stock on that AR most of the times. He didn't use it on a map like Stronghold in the past. It's definitely something that could try to give him an advantage against the likes of Formal, try to throw Formal off his game just a little bit.
It's very odd how the meta changes for pro players. We were talking about it earlier. It seems like they're always late to the party and the way they play their games, but I just found out a few weeks ago that stock on an SMG has actually been the meta for a lot of pros. Like Scump was hounding me. I played a series of 8s with him, and it went so horrifically bad. But I had no idea. Stock has never been an attachment that any pro player has ever used in any game. If you date it back all the way to when stock was introduced, I think in like Modern Warfare 3. It just has never been something that people have used on their classes. And I think the biggest thing for when we're watching this Stronghold Hardpoint is the gray area in between hills, like the last 10 seconds and the first 10 seconds, because both of these teams are kings in their own right when it comes to rotating. They're both very smart in terms of like, okay, we need to give up this time, we need to get to the next hill. And it's going to be very, very awesome to see the way that these two teams confront each other when it comes to those rotations, because that is really the key to Hardpoint, and both these teams already do it so well.
Yeah, exactly. They're both really confident. We talked about the individual matchups you listed earlier. They're confident in their own gun skill. So when they're rotating, they're not going to have any fear when they're going. Sure, you know that the other team's expecting you, but you go in thinking you're going to win that gunfight.
It's such a hard thing to explain to the audience, but you see these teams and you see these players, and they're praised for their talent. But what you don't see is those small decisions. I was telling Revan, and he knows this just as well. There are so many small decisions that will add up in matches, and those will be the reasons why you win. It's so hard for you to see, like when you're watching at home, the small things things, the small rotations, you know, getting off the hill and going somewhere else and just helping out your team in those really small ways that will stack up and really give you the advantage.
Yeah, I mean, they always say, you know, the most perfect game may not be the most exciting because it's actually all going to come down to those internal decisions to make. It's not going to be that one quad defeat every time that gets you the win. It's going to be, you know, the ones here and there, you know, the doubles here and there and whatnots. And not always is going to be the Cerberus that gets you the win. It's going to be that one House or something like that that's going to get you all the way to the victory.
I think one thing, too, that's going to be crazy about this. Did I cut you off?
No, I just got a really interesting question to ask you guys. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, what I was going to point out was both of these teams, actually, in my opinion, show some of the best strafing in gunfights of any teams in this game because of the stocks of machine gun. If you have it on a man like Slack or Looney, you'll see them all the time in the hard point. Just bounce back and forth, try to catch their opponent off guard. Scump is also very good at that as well. That's why, again, I think the stock will be something so contested in this series.
Now, one thing I want to do, I want to test everybody's knowledge here, okay? We see it all the time on NBA at TNT with Charles Barkley and Shaquille O'Neal. Yeah. I want to hear series predictions, okay?
Okay.
I want to see how well you guys know these teams. What do you think's going to happen? We'll start from left to right.
I see how this is going. You want to flip the positions a little bit on me.
No.
We'll take it
I want to
over.
see Matt predictions. In a best of 7, who do you think's coming out on top?
Okay, first of all, I want to say no matter what, I think it's going to be a 4-3.
Oh, come on. Oh, wait, 4-3?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 4-3.
I thought you were trying to be real neutral. Give me like a PR answer.
Hey, no, man. Normally that's my job as a host, but you know what? I'm gonna bite the bait this time. And I think it's going to be 4-3. But I do think it's going to be Optic. I do. Because here's the thing. As much as I think it's realistic that Rise can win, at some point I think maybe the Greed's going to get to it a little bit. When they get close to that win, they're going to be like, hey, this is that moment we've been waiting for. They've been waiting for it for so long, in some ways more so than Optic, in my opinion. That's gonna catch them off guard. And like you said, that one small mistake, Optic's a team that's going to take advantage of it. They're going to win 4-3.
We've had 10 matches so far this weekend. I predicted 9 of the 10 right. The only one I got wrong was Liquid versus H2K when Liquid threw the series away. So my prediction that I set on Thursday evening was Optic. We're going to win the Grand Finals versus Rise 4-2. I'm sticking by it. Hey, Greenwall fans, you remember the Courage Curse from a few weeks ago? I don't know if you knew. I casted the only 2 Optic losses in the COD World League Stage 1, but I'm still going with OG. I don't want to hear it anymore.
Well, you're not casting, though. I'm
not casting, but I'm still in the venue, so some might try to pin this one on me. I know no matter win or lose, my mentions are going to be filled with people either blaming me or praising me for my prediction. Okay, Nate, now let's hear your prediction.
I'm so worried because the owner of Rise is sitting in the front of the stage, and I feel like he's going to come tackle me on this couch.
Well, you still got to make the call because at the end of the day, I'm the host, you're the guest. Let's hear it, Nate.
I hate to do it, but I mean, it's so disrespectful because Rise, in every facet right now, they should be getting this prediction in their favor. Like,
absolutely,
they have won every single LAN, but I just feel like it's at that point. I know what's going through Optic's heads. They're going to win 4-2. I'm giving it to Optic.
4-2?
4-2. It just, the reason I say that is because I don't know.
The crowd's turning. They're looking at you, man. They're staring you down.
I want to know, what does the crowd think, okay? So in 3 seconds, I want everybody to bring out their predictions. In 3, 2, you guys just yelled out. 3, 2, 1. Oh, that was kind of weak.
It was kind of weak. I heard a lot of
Optic,
but it was very weak.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
Nah, honestly, I usually hate when people do that. Like, let's hear the crowd.
It's different. It's different when you're sitting here.
But
it's a little fun.
Can you guys get my back? That's the first time I tried that.
I hear you, Nate. It's a different perspective. But I think you're right. I think that's the best way to put it, is that when you look at the stats, when you look at the history, when you look at the game so far this weekend, technically Rise has all the right to be expected to win, no matter who you're talking to. But something, I mean, just maybe it's the name. Maybe it's the name Optic. Just what you know that name for keeps catching all of us at the back of our heads, and everyone's having this feeling that, ooh, Optic still has that edge.
We are terrible people. I'm so sorry, Rise Nation. But if we are right, at least we look like we're cool.
And if we're wrong, Rise still gets to win, so they're happy. So it's a win-win situation, right? As we go into the bans and protects, that Purifier is still banned. And now it is going to be that HC you mentioned earlier, if that's going to get banned out or not. It is banned out by Crim6.
The Purifier is going home like it did in the first ban, or the Protect and ban. And the flashbang as well. I'm sure we're going to see stuns come in. And we still haven't seen that MR6 that was in the first batch in Protect and bans before they had to restart this game. Taking a little bit of time to decide. Rapid Fire going home right away, getting banned. And there goes the stun. There it is. So we don't have to worry about trophies.
The Shiva.
Ooh, the MR6 not going home.
A bit of a target on that Shiva. The stock is still in, so we'll probably see that on a lot of the guns, regardless of sub or assault rifle. But the Shiva are definitely a target. I mean, when you have strong AR players on the other side, you're afraid of that 2-shot kill.
Oh, for sure. And kinetic armor does make it through, which obviously Scump, it's his go-to. That will definitely help them in breaking different hard points. You saw it used last series very well to break that AC one versus Elevate. Will be brought out again here. Heatwave from Karma as well.
Yep, so all the same mirrored on both sides when it comes to specialist choices. This is game number 1 of the Grand Finals for the Call of Duty World League North American Stage 1 playoffs presented by PlayStation 4. It's going to be that hard point over on Stronghold.
Now, I'm going to point out one thing and one thing only on this matchup, and it's these two players, Octane versus Formal. I've mentioned them throughout the day. They're two of my favorite guys to watch, and it's all going to come down to their positions, who can win these engagements. To start it off, I've already put in those two black circles where you'll see both these players go off the start. You're going to have whoever spawns low side, they're going to get right to that half wall, try to shoot over middle map, vice versa for Formal. You'll also maybe see the player position himself top mansion. In regards to these classes, a lot of it's going to be communication, right? You want to call out exactly where the other AR is so you can have a submachine gun player try to get a flank in, maybe even a long overextension to catch him off guard. You need help from your teammate to take him down. You can't keep challenging him one by one. Also, on the other side of things, if you're spawning down low, you want to try to push up in through bottom mansion and maybe catch the player off guard on fire pit. Anything you can do to limit the vision of the ARs in this map, to give your submachine guns the presence to run around and roam freely, will definitely help you get control of the certain areas in this one. Also, the hills to watch out for, as always, if you're new to competitive Call of Duty. It doesn't matter if a team is up by 60 seconds. If it gets to this bunker hard point, the team down can definitely come back with a stronghold. I
love that you mentioned kind of ruining the vision of the assault rifle players, because what better way to do it than with smokes, right, Nate?
Hey, they've been great this weekend. I don't want to hear it. They've been great.
We've seen like 2 smokes being thrown.
Oh, we'll see.
This isn't CSGO.
Potentially 7 more games.
And we don't use smokes.
They're loading it right now,
we
so
don't
we'll
use
find out.
flashbangs. We don't use stuns. We do guns only, because that's all we're capable of.
Well, we'll find out when we get into this game. It is going to be Optic versus Rise. Best of 7 Grand Finals. Who's going to take the lead towards that trophy? We'll find out as we jump in with Maven and Mr. X.
Thank you, boys. Here we are, the grand final, Optic, Rise. Matt, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. And I think for me, the 2 biggest players in this series to look out for, on the side of Optic Gaming, Karma, and on the side of Rise, I'm looking at Classic. These 2 guys have the opportunity to make the biggest impact in this series. I mean, we've seen Classic step up in big pressure situations before with tons of kills, great OBJ time. If there's one game for him to go huge in, it's this one.
All right, well, I'm going to go on with Classic. You know, early in the game, he was one of our favorite players to watch. Just so versatile, could do it all, get the slaying done, get in on the objective. Let's watch him off the break, see what he's going to bring to this one early on. Game 1, Grand Finals, Stronghold, Hardpoint. Let's get it going.
It's going to be a 2 AR setup out of Rise Nation here at the beginning. It's going to be Octane and Classic. Octane's going to play more towards the fire pit. You're going to see Classic come through the middle, straight into the hill. It seems like Optic Gaming playing this one.
Or not playing this one.
We're just not playing this one at all.
And apologize, guys. It looks like there may be an issue. That does not appear to be a beautiful mountains. Beautiful mountains.
Optic is giving up a lot of time on this first hill, it seems. But no, sure we'll get a reset here. And we'll talk a little bit more about the players in this matchup. I'm a big fan of Classic from the standpoint, and Karma, that they're always in the position to make a play. I feel like they're going to have a lot of one-on-one engagements during this matchup. They both run ARS and Gs. They switch back and forth.
Yeah.
I think those are 2 big players to look out for. You're going to need a big game out of Karma against this Rise Nation team.
Well, I'm curious. You know, they talk predictions a little bit, and we may be going back to analysis while we get all this figured out. But I need a prediction from you, buddy. What are you thinking?
Well, just looking at some of these maps, I think this one can kind of go either way. Breach S&D, that's a rematch of Game 5 from Totino's that Rise actually took. And then you look at Fringe Uplink, that is one that we've seen Rise Nation throughout the season put up ridiculous scores on.
You got to pick something.
I think it goes to 7. I think this one goes to 7.
Well,
I think
you
it
stole
goes
my
to
answer.
Infection S&D.
Thank you.
And at that moment in time, I mean, you could have Octane get hot with a sniper. It's going to be highly contested towards the end. I would not be shocked if Rise wins this. They come in with a lot of pressure, but
you just took Rise 4-3. That's why it's hurting.
They're fueled by everyone kind of talking them down. The fact that they can't get it done against the top teams at a live event. I think that's great motivation to go into the series with.
Certainly have a chip on their shoulder, you got to think, coming into this one. Despite the fact they've won both lands, you still see it constantly, whether it's on Reddit, on Twitter. Optic's the best team. They're 20-2. Optic's the best team. Rise, certainly, it feels like they have more to prove. They have the pressure. They want to take this one. These guys are going to be fired up. Just a quick restart of the game here. We should be able to hop right back into things. Won't need to do the ban protect or specialists if we've already had those selected.
I'll ask you, who are the key players for you in this matchup? I think, Classic versus Karma, that's a nice matchup to look at.
Formal versus Octane.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm looking at the AR player, especially here. Let me steal this sheet of paper from you because you were talking through the maps a little bit. When we look at the hard points, both ones where I think between Fringe and Stronghold, going to be AR dominated. Infection S&D, Breach S&D. I'm looking at the AR players. I think it's going to be Formal versus Octane is definitely the matchup because Octane has been. He's sort of, I feel like Formal cemented himself as a top AR player. Octane has in this game, he really kind of rose up through Advanced Warfare.
He has in general. I think that's just a discussion that needs to end. I don't think he needs to prove himself anymore. I mean, the guy has just been silly. See the Rise Nation guys just really calm. Not really bothered by it.
That's what you want to see.
I mean, everybody in the room, a lot of people cheering on Optic Gaming, and it does not seem to phase Rise at all. This is a team that, since the beginning of this tournament, this is what they want. They wanted their chance against Optic Gaming. They're going to get it here. They're going to have to live with the results. I think Rise Nation, though, they are so motivated, man.
All right, well, we are going to be taking another shot at this one to get game one on the way. If you haven't tuned in all weekend, you're just hopping in. This is the grand final, a best of 7 Optic Gaming Rise Nation. Winner takes it all. It's a prize purse of $250,000. Stage 1 has gone over the past 3 months to narrow it down to the #1 seed versus the #2 seed. Let's get it going once again with Classic.
We'll see if he goes same exact route he did in the first one. It looks like we're going to see it.
Positive everyone's moving now.
Yeah, everybody is moving, so we're going to keep continuing in this game and see Classic come from those mid-cuts with the assault rifle. And usually it's a position we see teams send an SMG player in. They're going to have Classic with Octane in there looking over him, but it's Optic Gaming dominating the kill feed at the start. You see Rise, they're going to spawn over by half on. It's not the worst thing in the world. They're going to have to push through, get those mansion spawns for that second hill, though.
Well, you see Krem flying in, wanted to pick up a little bit of time. He got the VMP, and he was going to go soaring in, but gets dropped. 2 streak right now for Karma. Good awareness there as he goes back to check the spawn. Shot's a little off, but he is going to be able to pick up the kill. 18-2 advantage. Early control for Optic Gaming. We've got another 20 seconds or so here before we're going to rotate into Mansion.
I think for Rise Nation, it's a pretty slow start. Obviously, Optic Gaming getting hot at the beginning. But if you take Mansion, it kind of erases everything that's happened here. They just need to get warm. Optic obviously just played here. They're feeling pretty good. Obviously, their guns were great against Elevate. Rise just needs to get warmed up in this first hill or so and then really take this Mansion one and start this train.
Well, and a lot of pressure, you talked about who needs to go big. A lot of pressure is on Looney. They just beat FaZe. He went up against one of the best sub players and attached. Now next thing, it's like, no break for you, pal. Now you have Scump. He needs to have another huge series. You saw him with an MVP performance there in the semifinals.
But I feel like a lot of people, they just overlook Looney when we talk about best SMGs in the game.
Those people are crazy.
Yeah, Looney, a fantastic player, and I think definitely wants to prove, same thing with the rest of the Rise Nation squad, that they belong in that upper echelon. You see Formal, though, mid-map winning that gun battle against Octane. You have Looney up top. He's going to drop down, try and challenge this player, bottom bar, inside Mansion, but it's a fast break from Optic Gaming as they get control. You see Scump taking out one, not able to get the second. Slack just going to try and contest. He's actually able to get 2 in the process. You see Rise trying to flood in, but they just cannot get a break right now.
Well, just look at the slang so far from Optic Gaming. They've got an early advantage. Every player positive, everyone getting involved on the objective as well, and now we're going to have to rotate out to half-wall, but you can see setup already is going to be slacked in Rise Nation. They're ready to hold this down. If they can get a solid hold, they'll be right back into this one, Matt. What's the best way to hold this, buddy?
Well, obviously, you're going to have control the spawns. You want players in the back satellite area, and then obviously force the other team to flood through bunker, but it doesn't look like that Rise is able to do that. They're going to need their AR to start playing well. I mean, look at Formal, 9-4. You asked for a good start from him and Krim. I mean, obviously, the grand finals, Krim is going to show up. He starts things off 10-3. You see Formal, Scump getting in the kill feed, taking those players out, coming from bunker. It's a fantastic hold right here from Optic Gaming. And I like the idea from Rise Nation, though, to rotate early. They gave up on Mansion, didn't want to feed streaks, but they just were not able to hold this half-all hill.
Well, you had a 4 streak for Krim. He dropped. Now you have 4 for Formal. Look at them, 11-4 each. doing a monster performance here in the slang as he cannot be stopped. He's getting close now to the lightning. He is going to finally get dropped right before those streaks come in. But let's check out Scump now. He has kinetic if he buys to pop this. Maybe saving that, you think, for bunker once we get going there?
Yeah, just in case Rise gets control of bunker, you want to have that kinetic armor. Obviously, the Purifier gone, so kinetic armor, one of the more powerful abilities to break into that bunker hill.
Well, here come two players pinching on Looney. He's able to find one, trying to control Satellite here. The spawn wins another gunfight there as he's going to gun formal. One in front comes in as Karma with the melee for Scump on the other side of things, but Optic's opened up a 60-point lead. But this bunker rotation coming up here in the next 10 to 15 seconds is going to be everything. This could be Optic just blowing the doors open, or Rise Nation basically tying this one up.
Yeah, Rise can make this game very close if they get over to bunker and take the rest of that time. 20 seconds left here on Snow, and you're going to see Formal winning that gunfight versus Classic. It's Octane able to take him out. If you're Optic, you start rotating over towards bunker, and that's exactly what you see. But look at this, Classic Slack in a fantastic position, actually, with this kinetic armor. Does he elect to use? He's going to have one player come around the corner. Has to know there's other players here from Optic Gaming. He's got some AR support behind him. Let's see. This is going to be a huge situation in terms of the game. How this plays out could determine if Rise Nation makes the comeback or not.
And Slack still has this kinetic. They keep pushing. He gets the points to hold the hard point. He picked up 2. The early rotation paying off, and he is gunning everyone using cover. 3 streak for Slack. Finally going to fall. Optic Gaming trying to break. They're flying in. Holding on so far is Rise Nation. It's been contested. No one able to get points. Smoke down. Nade shots confused, and the hold comes in for Optic.
Again, you saw that it was a Scump around the corner. He actually got out of the hill because he didn't want to challenge that player with an SMG on that box. He waited for Krim to come out and peek it with an AR. Krim doesn't win the gunfight, but Scump's able to fly in and win that second initial attempt.
Octane just held off with an L-car there.
Octane picking up 2 big kills, and he's actually going to get 2 more, actually 1 more around the corner. And this is a fantastic comeback by Rise Nation. They need to get these players out of the corner. You see Classic flying in. He's able to pick up 2 in the kill feed, but Octane 75 away from the lightning would be huge for them to get streaks.
If he could get streaks, that would be massive. But honestly, even though we see the tail end of these points going towards Rise Nation, there wasn't really any change in score. It was a 60-point advantage for Optic going into this, because even though no one was able to really lock it down, it was contested for what seemed like 75% of that hard point.
Yeah, Rise just never was able to push through and get control of that hill, and Looney off to a slow start, 8 and 14. You expect him to turn up in the second half.
They can't afford that. They just can't.
They absolutely cannot. I mean, when you have Scump playing decently well, he's winning his engagements close to the hill. You need Looney to counter that player.
Well, let's check Scump out. We haven't been on with him much, and you'll see why he's doing well. Wins 1, has another around the corner. Will he check it? Sees him low and obliterates Looney. Another one in front and not going to be able to find it, but solid stuff there from King Scump. Let's switch things over to the top AR player for Optic Gaming. That is going to be Formal, but you saw Octane pulling out that sight. Can he lock down these front steps and hold on to that spot? And is sight out for Formal as well on the other side? Yes, it is.
And you see, it was Rise Nation climbing back into this one a little bit. They're going to have mansion control, so they don't win that bunker hill, but they are clawing back. They're getting good time on these hills, and Optic needs to be cautious here, Maven. They give up a lot of time on mansion, or they give up the guys on Rise Nation streaks. Could be dangerous.
Well, you mentioned them needing to be cautious. I want to see how they're holding it down with the communication. Let's toss it over to an Optic Gaming listener.
One guy top kitchen and table. One door hill, one shot hill. He's behind the couch. One shot absolute.
Top bar. Nice. One top kitchen.
Nice.
Last 2 top kitchen.
I'm coming behind.
Come on, rocks together. They're coming to your front. Front mansion.
I don't see
Mid.
Stay down. Watch your top.
Nice. Cut to rocks. Oh no, he's going back middle.
Watch your top.
I got your wall run. I got wall run.
Push up front. I got front. Watch your top right now. Octane's front.
Two front. Both in front.
One guy went highway, I think. I'm framing it.
Top in hill.
Top table. I'm holding.
Last 2 in hill. I got bunker.
Push up front mansion. Front mansion, one shot front mansion, guys. Got one, nice.
Bunker with an AR.
Look at front mansion. I hear you. I'm going back.
I'm wrapping around after you're alone.
Got him. Rocks. I'm looking. He's one shot back, Rocks. Coming.
Solid stuff from Optic. They're maintaining this 50 to 60-point lead. What did you like about that listening?
Oh, their communication's on point. I mean, sometimes they can get a little bit silent. Obviously, Karma doesn't call out all the time, but you heard his voice a lot during that listening. If you're an Optic Gaming fan, that's a good sign.
Could not agree with you more. They're hyped, the boys are into it, and they're holding on to this lead. You've talked about the struggles of Looney. 13 in AT, picking up 2, there's 3. We got to him at the right time. The heat wave coming in clutch, but he will not see the player prone to his left. And it's going to come down to bunker ban. If Rise has any chance, they are going to have a massive hard point the second time through here.
Well, they would have had a great hard point the first time through. They just never pushed out.
Slack did his job. He got ready. I would have liked to see him push with the kinetic armor, though, for those other 2 players around the corner.
Right, they always let those players get to the corner, contest, trading back and forth. And Rise Nation plays it the same exact way, but they actually next time push through and get control of bunker. They could have been able to lock that down for an extended period. You see a lot of pressure being put on Octane here to lock down these spawns. He has 2 players converging on him. Karma from his left, Formal from his right. Karma's able to pick up that kill, and now it's going to make it hard for Rise to be able to get into this hill.
Well, Rise Nation spawning out. They've got a lot of work to do. Let's hop to a listen, and can they bring it back?
I'm trying to get satellite. No, top. Downhill, on hill, mid on.
Hello, Watson.
I'm trying to pick up your middle. Yeah, middle. They could be satellite. Top heady, weak. Top heady. Satellite, bottom 2 middle. I spawned bomb already. No middle. They can still spawn it. Satellite, last kid. He heat waved me. Fuck. I'm trying to hold out heady. I spawned index. I'm pushing out heady. Got one. I'm with you, Danny. One's pushing you in the back, Danny. Binding in the back. Oh, he's in the back already. He got me naked. Back mansion. Back cube. I spawned out heady. Back cube. One's mansion. You guys gotta help me. Hold the pinch. I'm gonna hold it from here. Alright, that's fine. I don't see Seth in cube. He's cube. Just push out. He's weak.
Classic popping the camo here, trying to find this player back spawn. Ring around the Rosie. Where did he go? He should be getting back whacked. Not going to find him. That was Scump winning a key engagement in the back, and now the break's going to come. Kinetic armor getting popped. One around the corner. The heat wave comes in. They're able to counter. Now Formal by himself. He's got a lot of work here to try and contest.
Oh, when Classic doesn't come up with that hill, I'm thinking in my head that Optic's going to be able to pinch and able to break this. But huge kills out of Slacked and Octane. And the hill going to be controlled by Rise Nation. You see 3 kills going in the kill.